minuten. 8 minuten. 8 minuten. 8 minuten. 8 minuten meer.
I still love that when you were sitting next to Jeroen and he was like, the village outside of Rotterdam. It doesn't matter for the joke.
I grew up on the closest like a housing estate to right on the edge or just outside of the roughest housing estate in my town.
Yeah.
And to me, that was a very important distinction. That I was like, no, I live on the edge.
On the edge of that.
Outside of that housing estate. But obviously with school kids, it's just like, that's enough.
Yeah.
They know now that this bothers you.
Yeah, and they will haunt you forever. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same with now when I'm living in. It used to be Oosterhout, but it's Nijmegen now. It's like the creme of Nijmegen. They stole it from Oosterhout, and then people are like, you live in Nijmegen, right? Yeah, I live in the new. Oh, that's Oosterhout. I'm like,
oh,
I do not care.
I don't even, because like I know Lent North just looks like a series of new builds. Yeah. Like no soul or atmosphere or anything.
Yes, and I'm across the highway from that where there's a series of newer builds and even less soul and atmosphere.
Well, who needs life, eh?
Yeah, I know. There's a trampoline. We're good.
That's true. And also, like, they have done that thing where, like, every house looks slightly different. Yeah. So you at least don't have that thing where it literally feels like someone's copied and pasted.
And they have a lot of wood going on, like wooden things in front of the house. To make it look like a chalet.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this is. I mean, you may think you're in the Netherlands, but you're actually
in Switzerland.
Yes. Did you not know? I mean, could you not see all the hills in your mind's eye?
You are actually a pensionado in Switzerland right now.
Yeah, exactly. Surprise.
Even though you're 32 and you have 2 kids.
Exactly. Yeah. And those eyes that you're using to look are full of tears.
How is your yacht?
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. I can't see my yacht because of my tears of mediocrity.
Exactly. But at least there's a sea view.
Yeah.
Man, I do love that as well because, like, you know, having not lived or raised here, it's amazing how universal that whole thing of like, okay, you got to find out where the local places are that has this kind of shitness, this kind of shitness, this kind of poshness, this kind of like pretentiousness. Yeah. It's like just copy and paste these names and audience.
For some reason, I've always found that in every city around the world, the south part is shit.
That's so true.
Rotterdam South is Feyenoord, which is and Charloes.
Right.
Which is horrible.
South of the river in London?
Yeah, south of the river in London. Boston, Southie. That's I know that from Good Will Hunting.
But then again, south of England, you know, that's where the money is, and then the Northerners complain. So, but just like in general, you know, because like Northerners do tend to complain that that's where all the industry and jobs and government investment is, and and I'm sure that just by saying those words,
in Holland, Northerners just complain because they're just cunts. They're just, if you go up to Friesland and Groningen, they're just complaining people. There is no industry there to complain about.
I'm imagining that being the kind of way that they are officially referred to as well. This is a no bullshit country. This is, sorry guys,
this is our Wales.
Whoa! Me fair.
Yeah, true. Where are you originally from?
I'm from South Wales.
You're Wales, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Welsh. From Bridgend, which is like this town between Cardiff and Swansea, which are the two cities that people have actually heard of in Wales.
Because of football clubs, yeah.
And because they're the two cities in Wales. so it's like
Antwerp and Brussels, really.
Basically, yeah. So it's like, oh, you know those. Like I actually, as I say Bridgend, I go between Cardiff and Swansea. It's almost like, you know, an extension of the name for people who ask. Yeah. But there was a period of time in 2007 where there was a huge spate of teen suicides in the town, which was prolific enough that there was actually a Hollywood blockbuster made about these suicides. There were documentaries, and for a brief period of time, I didn't actually have to say between Cardiff and Swansea because people would say, "Where are you from?" Bridgend, and they'd be like, "Oh."
Oh, 13 Reasons Why.
You okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, fuck you.
You need someone to talk to.
No, it was so weird. And then
Surprise, it's why I'm here.
yeah, exactly. I made it.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same with me though. I'm from Lekkerkerk, and I always say it's a small village outside of Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Except when I'm doing that joke on stage about things, and I just say I'm from Rotterdam, and then apparently Jeroen Bloemhoff tells people next to him he's not from Rotterdam, he's from a small town outside Rotterdam.
And you're like, great. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. That adds to the joke. But yeah, it's almost like an extension of, people are never going to know it. The only reason people know Lekkerkerk, where I'm from, is because there was one of the parts of this the village was poisoned. They had poison in the ground, and it was dug out in 1981, and I was born on top of that.
Oh,
poison as well, basically. So
wow.
That's what we're famous for.
Yeah. So did it have an effect on you? I mean, are there any sort of?
Well, I need to feel.
How many fingers have you got? Right, I've never really looked.
Well, how many do you feel, Stephen?
Oh, those are things. Oh, okay, right, okay, yeah. Cool, good. Okay.
No, it's funny how that sort of. It's probably the same with the Teen Shooter. Everybody remembers that little shitty thing about where you're from, and you always get that thrown in front of you.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's. I used to ask people. I'm from Lekkerkerk. Does anybody know? And you always get GIF. And I got so annoyed at one point and said, "What, HIF? I'm not from Africa," and that just to annoy the person, and just because I was just like, it's more than just that. It's actually my hometown. You bastard.
I don't quite get what is HIF.
HIF is poison in Dutch. So people were starting out.
Oh damn! So it's that renowned that it's literally bam. That's the reaction.
Yeah, that's the straight reaction there you go.
So I feel okay. Apologize for the fingers thing. Then. I feel like,
no, that's all right.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not that bad though.
Yeah.
It's just been a thing in the news back in the day.
Right, and people remember. It's funny how people remember those things. It's like the whole sent to Coventry phrase in the UK because it was bombed the shit out of in World War II, which was quite some time ago now.
Yeah.
But people will still say, if they want to ignore someone, that they're being sent to Coventry. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that keeps on going as well, that World War II thing, didn't it?
I know, right? People keep talking. Well, I guess it's the Nazis coming back, which doesn't help kind of the fad
but
die.
it's only in the waterboard and the provinces, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's true though. But now they've got the internet and videos, so it's easy to get the popularity.
It's true. Is that in Wales as well? Are the Nazis coming back in Wales?
No, we just like doing stupid things where someone like goes down a hill in a trolley, and then someone films it, and that person almost dies as they fall out the trolley, and their friends go, "You almost died, mate."
Solid gold.
Upload it to YouTube. 1,000 plays in 7 seconds.
Oh, I have no connection. Oh yeah, because we're in Wales.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to go across the border and upload this to YouTube.
There was when Jackass had that popularity in the US.
Yeah,
there was literally a bunch called Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah, I know them.
Right,
yeah.
So they're from my hometown.
Really?
Right, yes.
Oh, that explains a lot. The only thing I remember from Dirty Sanchez is they had a bicycle upside down and they pedaled it really fast and put their balls on the back tire that was going around. That's the only thing I remember from Dirty Sanchez.
Well, that's it. And to give you an idea of the town, those guys were basically treated like celebrities when they were like anywhere in the town.
That was Tuesday. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's like, how do they do it? How do they put their balls on the tire?
While it's spinning.
Who knew? Who knew?
Who knew that would hurt? It's insane.
Exactly.
The Sanchez was pretty big though. It was it was seen as like a bit of a rip off to Jackass. It was it's like Baroness the Macedon, really, but it was funny in a way.
But I think it was I mean, the whole fundamental concept, right? Because Jackass took what was essentially just like people doing candid camera or stupid shit on camera, and that was good. But Dirty Sanchez is almost like as if it's like, we can do that, but we can do it more gross on another level of kind
pain as well.
Yeah, of like self-harm, basically.
Yeah, Jackass went pretty far as well, though, with the...
That's true.
With the toy car up their ass and shit.
Although I always felt as well, it's kind of like Jackass, they had that whole thing where, it was an MTV thing, so they kind of like, they were trying to incorporate the videos, there was the skateboarding and everything. Yeah. So it was almost like, it was that sort of
more
ADHD.
Cultural,
Yeah, it was like, it was highbrow.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's 2019. Jackass is basically what people will look back at in future and go and call classical TV or something.
Yeah, it's our Monty Python.
Exactly.
One day people will look back and be like, it's genius.
Yeah, the Steve O.
Yeah.
We will never know what the O stood for.
He's touring as well. He does comedy as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I guess it is comedy, right? So what they did, but
in a way, but
was he doing stand-up comedy?
Yeah. I think he was doing stand-up at one point and actually did a world tour, or at least he stood up on the stage doing things. I don't know if it was stand-up or
a
lot of lying down as well. But
yes, I have seen in the Brisbane Comedy Fest. So I won't say a name, but a particular person who was booked partly because they are a YouTube celebrity.
Yeah.
And are great at editing things and filming things that can be filmed multiple times and make it into a particular thing. Actually, to be honest, I thought they were shit at that too, but I had a pass for the festival. And yeah, it's amazing how it doesn't translate. Who knew? Hey.
Yeah, but that's with Netflix right now as well, though. You get you got the what's his name? The guy from the Hangover. I think he's Korean or anyway. Politically incorrectly said the Asian guy from the Hangover. He had a special.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone who's ever done anything in a movie now gets this comedy special and just go on and ha ha ha.
Yeah, it is the actual volume of comedy specials. Because also bear in mind, I guess, that when Netflix upload a comedy special, comedians are happy because they're getting something on there. But the production costs are almost nothing. So they're just bring it on. We can just
except when they do a Dave Chappelle special. That's
right.
that
Obviously,
will cost them quite an amount of money.
That's true. There are always exceptions. But compared to say a 20-part series with huge production costs and
it's not Game of Thrones budgets, really.
Yeah. That's it. So I have noticed that now it's kind of the actual comedy. I mean, I don't know as well because Netflix obviously tailors its content to you as well. So just having watched a few, it's just watch more comedy. Watch more comedy. You fuck.
Watch more white 30-year-old males.
Exactly.
Talking about cell phones. It's what you like.
Admit it, you can't.
This is you. I think slowly all the Netflix, the squares with the series and the shit, if you zoom out, you get a picture of yourself.
Exactly.
It's
crying.
Wow, you're crying on your couch.
There's you.
Not knowing what to do anymore with your life because you've been told.
That's what happens when you complete Netflix, basically. Yeah. That's the ending sequence. Then the credits start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh, shit, okay. My life choices.
I don't really Netflix that much anymore, though. My kid does because I need time on my own. But... I watch cartoons on it, but me and my girlfriend, fiance, wifey don't really. We mostly just watch the opening screen, and then we can't find anything, and she goes back to crochet, and I start sewing something.
No, it's true, but that's not so different from when I was growing up and we'd go to the video shop and we'd spend the entire evening there trying to decide on one film to watch, and that was based on no internet search. That was based on just looking at the cover, whether you recognized the actor, whether it looked as if it could possibly be good, or if it was one of those straight to video ones, and because obviously they don't say on it, it's kind of this film is shit. Straight to video. John Candy's worst ever outing.
John Candy.
Exactly.
John Candy and Rodney Dangerfield are an odd couple.
That was my barometer of taste. I was John Candy's in it, we're taking it. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going.
We're done.
I am watching this tomorrow morning as well.
Exactly.
I remember that back in the day. We used to have a thing called day films. You can only rent them for a day, and then the weekly ones. And the weekly ones were the shit ones, and the day films were the actual blockbusters and shit.
Okay.
I used to get my money's worth by even watching them in the morning when I was 10, 12.
Yeah.
I remember I rented Loaded Weapon with Emilio Estevez and Sam Jackson, I think it is.
Yeah.
And man, I fucking watched it like 5 times in one day because I thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Hell yeah. I mean, that whole kind of like, that was like the golden age of spoof films.
Yeah. It started out with Airplane and such and Kentucky Fried Movie. But yeah, it's funny how comedy films sort of changed in a way. Back in the day, it was just being silly.
Yes.
Just make up stupid shit and just do it, and that's what I think anyway. Same with Hot Shots, which is true. Amazing.
Yeah,
which have and you discover new jokes every time you see it.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The intensity of it is like, it's just like one-liners essentially. So, with a plot that just hangs it together.
It's like 90 minutes of one-liners. And movies shouldn't be longer than 90 minutes anyway.
That's true. That is, that's a worrying trend as well. It's like so often it's kind of like, no, my vision is too good. This film must be 3.5 hours, even though all it is about is Lego.
Yeah, my vision is too good. It will not fit in 90 minutes.
Yeah, the director's cut is 5 hours.
Yeah, I remember my first girlfriend taking me to meet Joe Black.
Oh yeah,
3 hours of someone who apparently was dead or death, really.
Whoa, spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Jeez.
Sorry. Well, I'll just save you 3 hours. Be happy.
That's a good point.
But yeah, those films though, like today, the comedy films are more character driven though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still pisses me off that Will Ferrell never got an Oscar for Anchorman because he created.
Yeah, that's like a cultural icon.
Yeah, like a cultural icon, really.
Yeah.
Probably the same with Jack Sparrow, like what Johnny Depp did with Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
like
that's
you create
true.
like a cultural icon and everybody knows that person, and then it goes to someone who played a handicapped person in this dramatic film that was over 90 minutes.
Right, yeah. And then that just cleans up at the Oscars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, but with those like Anchorman and I guess Jack Sparrow, I mean, like actually, I think that Pirates of the Caribbean probably even more so. It's like surely when that concept of a film came out, the whole it's like, oh, we're making a film about a fairground ride, at Disney. It's like fundamentally everyone's already like, oh, this is going to be so shit.
Yeah,
I'm going to go watch this because this will be the worst film ever made. Yeah. What an awful concept. And then the fact that they managed to make something of it, because I mean, I still, the first film is still pretty bad, but it had like, it was almost like as if, oh, it's a lot better than they thought it would be.
Well, it kind of created a world in a way, though.
Yeah,
but Johnny Depp carries the film,
right? And he's created that character based on like
Keith Richards.
Yeah. So, and then it is iconic. But I do feel like with that sort of one, it's like it's the cult thing, It's like it's a slow burner. People pick up on it more, and then it becomes just part of culture. And Anchorman is like the extreme of that because there was a period of time where it was just like
it was just there.
Yeah, and people just like making like quotes and references. You would just be like, "Shut up, man! You're spoiling this film. You're killing it. You're killing it." Jeez. But these things don't like instantly have that effect, They kind of play on people's mind and slowly take over.
It's true though, and especially Anchorman with for me anyway, it was just there at one point.
Yeah.
Someone's like, "Oh, have you seen this?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Oh, it's brilliant," and you just watch it and then watch it over and over again because it's so good.
Yeah.
But it's more character driven than say Hot Shots, which was more like you said, it's like 90 minutes of one-liners.
Yeah.
Like what are you reading? Great Expectations. Is it any good? That's not what I hope for.
You're gonna love it though.
Yeah,
it's because what's coming, but you still, you just the dry delivery. It just makes it.
Yeah, and just the complete silliness of it. Like it's like a Python-esque ridiculousness of getting on. Last call for the train to Hawaii kind of stuff. Just jokes like that. It's just like this fucking insane though.
It's true, but you can't underestimate like the talent of someone like Leslie Nielsen.
Oh yeah.
Because even with that format, actually perhaps more so with that format, if the delivery isn't right, then you just cringe. It's the fact that it's you have that deadpan actor who can carry those lines so perfectly seriously, yet with that just tinge of just like utter ridiculousness, but that makes them work.
There's a lot of stand-up in his acting, I think. Because if you look at Airplane, I remember at the end he walks into the cockpit about 5 times saying like, I just want you to know that I trust you and it's all in your hands. And then something like that and then just walks out. But it just keeps on coming back in a callbacky kind of way. And the Don't Call Me Shirley joke. It's all very stand-up-y delivery that he does.
Yeah, his timing, his pause, and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And I think as well with comedy films, because I think part of the reason, because I personally think, on average, when I see the genre comedy film, I assume it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
And because it's so easy to do badly, because of all different genres, comedy is the one which is so dependent on perfect timing, playing on expectations or like confounding expectations, that it's far easier to get wrong than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't kind of like come out of a comedy film and kind of like go, oh, that was all right.
Yeah, that was
either really good or shit.
Yeah, that was mediocre.
Yeah. You're like, and then over time you're like, nah, I forgot it existed.
Yeah, but that's true. Like it's either really shit or really good.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the same with comedians as well.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I either watch it or I don't. And
Although I think with comedians as well, they much like a lot of artists, they can go through like phases where they're incredibly creative and they create amazing things, and then they can go through phases where you're just like, dude, you are recycling yourself.
Yeah.
So you need something new because
and also just a way of I get a feeling sometimes when comedians and some bands as well, they get when they get bigger, they sort of get lazier.
Yeah.
Call it the Kings of Leon effect. Like where they
that's
like
extreme. Yeah,
their
that's
first
true,
albums were really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of Because of the Times. And then after that they went on with Sex on Fire and songs like that. It started writing radio friendly, stadium friendly rock.
Stadium particularly as well, like the reverb, the sound, which is
exactly
like,
just a sort of Phil Spector-y wall of sound thingy going on where you can just fill up a stadium with it. And it's the same with I remember watching, I think it was Bear by Jim Jeffries, his show. I was a big Jim Jeffries fan in his early work, like Alcoholic Hearts and his first couple of shows, and then there was a joke on Bear, and you can just see his face after the joke going like, oh, you like this, don't you? You're just like, oh, you just wrote that for your audience in a way.
Yeah.
I'm glad he rediscovered himself in America in a way.
Yeah,
with his new show. But
yeah, that's a good point. I've never actually seen that particular show.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not really. I take or leave Jim Jeffries.
Yeah.
But he's there's quite a lot of comedy which I'll see bits and pieces of it here and there. I might like it, I might not. But I'm not like a nerd who kind of like can go, oh yeah, remember in 2017 when he made that thing and he had a cameo on this and
and his pause was too long and he fucked up the joke.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're like, sure.
Oh yeah. Great. Did you know he's not even from Rotterdam?
Yep, there you go. Callback number one.
Yeah, exactly. Any favorites though right now, like Netflix specials or comedians or?
So I actually have been recently late to the bandwagon, but recently discovering James Acaster, but in a way that no one else probably did, and actually ruined it slightly for me.
So you're a James Acaster hipster, but reversed.
Well, I spent a long time thinking, like, what is the fuss about?
Yeah.
And that's partly because, so I know from the UK he's big on like panel shows and things like this. I don't really watch TV, so that's over my head. I have no care or idea about that. Then someone had recommended him to me, and what I did is I listened to an interview with him on a podcast. I can't remember which one it was. And I had to say, that's probably like the worst idea of an introduction to anyone.
Yeah.
Because what happened was the host just basically talked about how amazing he was.
Yeah.
He acted all humble and like, no, it's really not much.
No.
And I spent the entire time not knowing this, just like going, who the fuck are you, man?
Yeah.
Who the fuck I don't care about you. Don't act all humble. Act humbler.
Yeah.
If anything, you know.
Grovel, you bastard.
Exactly. I'm like, what is this? This is, he hadn't deserved that in my head.
Yeah.
Then, stupidly, I read his book because someone recommended it and I was looking for something to read over Christmas. And I was like, okay, I'll read his Scrapes book. And I was reading that and I was like, it's not a very good book. It had some moments, but I was like, fundamentally, this is not a good book. Yeah. So at that point, I was like convinced. I was like, great, I have bypassed this guy and seen through the bullshit already.
Yeah.
But I'd basically just been looking at the worst possible ends. Started watching the Netflix ones. I mean, I still, I'm not going to go to that sort of like, oh my God, he's the best. He's the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, I was like, oh, this is why people like him.
Yeah, it's
okay,
really good.
I get it now.
Yeah.
So finally. Yeah,
So it took you a while.
Yeah, I just took the stupidest route. You know? It's kind of.
No, I just just some people I really like recommended it. Some comedians, Thomas Smith, a Belgian comedian, was talking about it in a podcast, and Hassan, he was talking about it, and some other people like, oh, you got to check it out. It's really good.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people did that with Nanette as well. So you can't really trust everyone. In a way.
I mean, okay. So I take it from that. Then you were really not a fan of Nanette.
The weird thing is, the first time I saw it, I had goosebumps and I thought it was fantastic.
Right.
And then I rewatched it and I was like, there are no jokes in this.
That's true. It's not really a comedy thing.
And at one point, she does do a joke that was supposedly material that she was not going to do anymore, and said,
Right.
I'll give you that one. And that was her biggest laugh in the entire show.
Yes.
And then I was like, wow, that's a cop-out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's funny you mentioned that, actually, because to me it was like, yeah, it's clearly not a comedy show.
Yeah. No, it's Dutch cabaret in a way. Cabaret,
okay.
like, it's like very emotional. But sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah, go on.
No, but see, now this is a slight other subject that I'm really keen to pick your brain on, because to me this whole kind of like Dutch cabaret thing is like this. People always talk about it, but they talk about it, and everyone who tries to describe it to me says it in a way it's like, oh, well, it's a bit like this, but it's not really that.
Yeah.
And then I say something to compare it to, and they're like, no, it's not really that.
Not really that.
And I'm always kind of like, have this weird concept of what it is, but never quite understand how it differs from stand-up.
I think it's an umbrella cabaret in Dutch.
Okay.
It used to be, just critique on society in a funny way. That's how it started out back in the days.
Like satire.
Yeah, like satire, but on a stage mostly, and jokes about governmental issues and societal issues.
And who was putting this on? Why was this happening?
If you look at Dutch history, you started out probably back 50s, 60s with guys like Wim Kan and Toon Hermans, Toon Hermans was more of a stand-up-y guy, though, more of a jokey joke. It'd be like your weird uncle that made dad jokes.
Okay.
And he possibly was your dad as well. But that's how it started out. Then you went into the 70s, and there was more critic anywhere in the world. Like we got more connected in a way, and there was more social critique going on. And that sort of evolved into what would be cabaret, I reckon. Because I grew up on Freek de Jonge and Joep van 't Hek, who were opposed to the elite in a way. Funny enough, Joep van 't Hek turned out to live on the grachten in Amsterdam, and he is super rich right now. So that's a weird way. He kind of turned into this sour old dude that has a lot of money in a way.
Yeah, it's amazing how that can change views. Like Ben Elton as well. His arc of anarchist lefty to full on Tory.
It's amazing sometimes. Money and principles.
Yeah.
But cabaret. It's to me, it's like an umbrella of different things. One, it was the society critique sort of thing, and the other thing was just jokes and songs, sort of acting out in a way, and doing songs in there and doing it that kind of way. But I think Holland slowly turned into stand-up anyway. Like the biggest cabaret artists from when I grew up, like Theo Maasa, Ronald Goedemond right now, like he started the first time I saw him was about 12 years ago, I think. That's more stand-up-y already.
Okay. So do you think, though, that maybe it influenced the type of stand-up that you get in the Netherlands because it came from a different place historically?
Yeah, for part of it, yeah. There's still people in the Netherlands doing the cabaret stand-up thing.
Yeah.
Sort of combination of the two. I don't really feel for it. It's more acting than really stand-up-y in a way. There's this theater academy as well that poops out new classes every year that go into theaters and do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I like more raw stand-up. But the stand-up in Holland started out... was talking to Dave Thompson about that as well.
Oh, yeah.
You should check out the podcast we have with Dave Thompson. He was talking about it because they brought in English stand-ups, UK stand-ups to Holland about 25 years ago to start the whole stand-up thingy. Yeah. Here, early 90s. And then Comedy Train was started in Toomler.
Yeah.
And then the Comedy Explosion, and that turned into Comedy Cafe in the end. And they used to get UK artists over and UK comics, and they would usually MC and do the main part of the show or headline the show, and then you had some.
Yeah.
I think you had about 5 Dutch comics to start with in like the early 90s, and then it slowly evolved from that.
Oh, wow, okay.
But yeah, cabaret. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just really Dutch. it's got that pointy Dutch finger of you should not do this or you should do this, and some jokes here and there.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'm more of a joke oriented guy anyway. I like as long as it's funny.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's funny because you've now given me this description. I feel like I'm no closer.
No, at all. No, I know, but it's like trying to explain Zwarte Piet. You know, it's like
yeah.
You're not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just tradition. That would be my best description. Cabaret is Zwarte Piet. It's just tradition.
I feel that's kind of
and it's horrible. It's just one of our many horrible traditions.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I would just sum up Holland in 2 words: cabaret and slavery. That's that'd be it.
Caramel mochaccino to go, please.
Yeah, precisely. No, it's just I don't know. It's just a more theatrical way of comedy, I reckon.
Right.
That would be my best description. Yeah.
Fair enough, and the musical aspect as well. I mean, that's the thing is whenever someone's described, they've always mentioned the musical aspect. And fundamentally, I enjoy very little music comedy.
Yeah, me too.
And actually, when I do enjoy something that's musical based comedy, I tend to then enjoy it on another. It's either like I hate it, or I absolutely adore it, because there's nothing in between. Because the fact that it managed to cross that threshold, to me, it's like it blows my mind. Because I'm like, oh my god, I like this.
Yeah,
how did that happen?
Amazing. How did that happen? There's a couple of Dutch comedians that do it as well, like Roel Severberg, who's a musical comedian who's really good.
Yeah,
really funny, but he's funny without his guitar as well, you know. But but he writes very funny songs, and it just adds a lot to his comedy, and he's unique in that way as well. But as far as cabaret goes, the songs are also more emotionally laden than.
Oh, okay. So we're not just going for gags or laughs.
No. It's quite I remember Theo Maas had a joke long ago. I think it was like this 4th show or something. It was like, and I don't do songs as well because, why should all my emotions rhyme all of a sudden?
Okay.
But there's quite a division, or used to be a bit of a division, and then again there's not, because we all share stages and we're pretty cool with each other. And But for me personally, I'm not really a cabaret fan. I just think shit should be funny.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned as well about the whole shared stage of different styles, because something that happened to me this year when I was in Edinburgh during the Fringe, which kind of, it still plays in my mind, because it was just like, it summed up a lot of what I didn't understand when living in Australia.
Yeah.
Is that so a friend of mine who's a comedian, she's now living in the UK. She hadn't lived when I was living in Australia. She was living there too. She had never lived anywhere outside of Australia. That's all she knew.
Yeah.
And we were catching up. It was quite cool, just like, seeing how things were going in the different continent and everything. And the conversation got around, it got to that point where it was like, oh, do you know what? And she had that tone where it was like, we've reached the point of the conversation where we're saying like nice things, and like reflective, nostalgic things. And she goes, do you know what? When Emily and I, someone else I know, first saw you perform, we were both saying to each other, what the hell is he doing? I had no idea what it was that you were doing or why you were doing it. And now I live in the UK. I get it. I see what people do like that now. And we had no idea in this sort of thing. And she was saying this like a revelatory thing that was supposed to be a compliment. Like, you had a very British style of humor. And I'm hearing it and I'm going, did everyone in Australia think,
lie to me?
What the fuck is this guy doing? Did no one understand anything? Was it me? What the fuck?
They're just nudging each other, going like, just smile and wave, boys. Just laugh.
Exactly. If we keep smiling, maybe he'll go away.
Yeah, exactly.
It was one of the most, and she seemed so happy with this as well. I felt obliged to kind of like go, oh, yay. Thanks.
Thank you for that backhanded compliment.
I feel so much better now.
I'm just going to cry now.
We should catch up more.
And by more, I mean never.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is Australian humor that different though?
I think so. I mean, even though there's a strong claim of there being an overlap, and the fact that a lot of British TV is what's on just regular TV in Australia, I did notice that because I always think of I always think of British comedy in the sense of like it's slightly more surreal, but it also has this thing with the person, the protagonist is basically the person who is having is a bit of a shit person, or is having a hard life, or is like it's basically the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
Whereas that kind of more American feel of things is where like the comedian is the hero, exactly. Is the victor, is the person who's basically almost aspirational.
Yeah.
And Australia was something in between the two, because it's I was living in Brisbane as well, so I felt like it was a very there's a lot of machismo, and it's Queensland, so it's the more countrified state of the country, so to speak. And even though there was a lot of cool people and a lot of people trying different things in Brisbane, I definitely always felt this thing where people were always a bit like, because I have a slight maybe camp tendency, and they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah,
it's like, why aren't you just being like,
super male?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
Why aren't you wearing? What are all these
Where's
sleeves on your t-shirt? Why aren't you wearing a vest, motherfucker?
Yeah. Why are you not wearing your wife beater today?
Exactly.
Oh, it's laundry day. Okay.
I combine that with a British accent, and they're probably like, it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean that's just my interpretation of it.
No, I know what you mean though.
Yeah,
I had the exact opposite of New Zealand.
Well, I did like quite a few dates in Christchurch, and that was like a breath of fresh air, because that was more just like, oh fuck, I get these guys, I'm on the same wavelength, and I've really felt settled whenever I went over there.
Yeah,
but then I had to go back to Australia.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite a different kind of way, because New Zealand is super PC.
Right.
And I'm very direct. And like most starting out comedians, I was quite offensive.
Right.
When I started out with comedy. So I got some nasty looks there at one point. But it was just sometimes just too, and they went on to the point where there was this internet discussion going on about how women would not feel welcome in the comedy scene, trying out comedy,
right?
Because of men making misogynist jokes.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, if you can't stand the heat, stay in the kitchen, and that got a bit of a backlash. It was just a joke though. Like, right. I really support women in comedy. Don't get me wrong. People can't see my face right now, but. And that got such a backlash. I was living in Wellington, and one of my friends went up to Auckland to perform at the one comedy club in New Zealand, the Classic. And the guy behind the bar, "You're from Wellington? Oh, that Paul London's a cunt, hey?"
Oh,
and he was just like, "No, he's really nice." "Oh yeah, no, he's a dick." Like,
okay.
Did you ever meet him? No. Oh, okay.
Shit, it's amazing how these things can stick, and because that can be like someone's only knowledge of you.
Yeah. Probably they still think I'm a cunt. Like he'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh, that guy.
Exactly, Paul London.
The misogynist, the Dutch misogynist.
Exactly, yeah. No, that's the thing as well. It's like, maybe it's the English language scene here in the Netherlands. Yeah. Everyone is like quite constructive and helpful. And I guess it's a fledgling scene, so everyone's still trying to find Well, it's like a fucking gold rush. Everyone's trying to like make something of.
Except there's no
what's
gold because no one's getting paid.
Well, it's comedy, so yeah, it's a gold rush. It's all fool's gold.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's like chocolate coin rush.
Exactly. But at the same time, it's like there was a comedy group in Brisbane as well, and I'd very rarely post into it, and if I posted into it, I'd pretty much be guaranteed that at some point, within about 2 or 3 comments, and this was like for most posts, someone would be like, fuck off, cunt.
Yeah.
And it didn't even matter what it was, and it would be there were a handful of people. It was just like a really trolly culture.
Oh yeah.
And and that's the thing, I guess, because these groups had like thousands of people in them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people, when you get to that certain like critical mass, they may not even do stand up that much anymore.
Yeah.
But they're now kind of like, I'm the big man in the Facebook group.
Those are the worst, eh?
Yeah.
You've got them in Holland as well. I'm not going to mention names because they'll know who they are, but
right.
There's like this Dutch comedian group. I think there's about 600 people in there, and there are people that used to be pro comics in the 90s or probably late 90s, early 2000s that keep commenting on shit.
Right.
It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
It's like a worn out school bus being pissed on by homeless people standing in the fucking car graveyard looking across the fence at the cars that are still running and shouting. That's what they're doing.
That's a vivid image.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up. Either you start doing comedy again or you shut up. Like,
yeah, basically.
Oh man. But yeah, it's like you said, once you reach that like 600, 700 people.
Yeah. Suddenly, and that's the thing then, and then because and actually I found that poisoned the scene slightly, because what it caused to happen sometimes is people will forget that the whole point with doing this is to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can kind of like get a few comedians to, cause, you'll notice this when you perform, and the comedians at the back will laugh, not at your jokes, but they'll laugh at like the thing that either you're dying or you did a sort of slight turn of phrase that was a bit wrong or something like that. They're not laughing where they're supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. So if you're just going to go up and, please all the comics, then you're going to have this set that's just like, great, you're like a bad Andy Kaufman. Well done. So... But that was a genuine thing that I felt from a lot of.
I still laugh at other comedians, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I see a lot of, and I get that with professional shows, that if you've seen someone about 10 times, you're not gonna laugh at stuff anymore. But even stuff I already heard before. To me, comedy's kind of like music. I can listen to jokes more than once and
that's
still
true.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, especially if it's everything from like when you're taking in the delivery, the timing, the slight subtleties in how it's changed for that particular context. Yeah, no, there's still a lot that you can really enjoy when something's done really well. Yeah, and it's just, if it's good, it's good. Yeah, you never get that first feeling anymore though. But that's the same. Same with music in a way. Yeah, that's true. Although it may be slightly different, because I don't know, some of the music is kind of like almost like that third listen where I go like, now it all clicks and makes sense.
Yeah, but I have that with some jokes as well. But you're smarter than I am, so you pick up on things earlier than I do.
Well, I wasn't going to say.
No, but it's like, you know Mastodon, right? The band Mastodon.
Yeah.
I remember listening to their album, what's it called? The last song's called The Last Baron.
That's not... Blood.
No, the one after Blood Mountain.
Oh.
Fuck, I can't.
I can't remember.
Yeah, the bluish cover, purpley cover. Yeah. Anyway, so I was listening to that. I bought that album in the morning when I got back. When I went to my internship, and I got the train back to Rotterdam, and I put it on. I remember there's like this a key change, and there's this guitar riff just kicks in, and I remember just sitting on the train going and just cheering out loud, like this is the best thing ever. And I can listen to that key change again and again and be like, oh, this is awesome, but you never get that first laugh. And it's the same for me with jokes.
Okay.
Like I can listen to jokes about 10 to 20 times. There's especially with one-liner comics.
Yeah.
I can listen to these jokes, I still laugh. Like if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. And I think that maybe the difference of what I'm thinking of then, now you put it that way, is that sometimes with music, the first time you hear it, you might be doing something else.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't really take it in. It's like there's a difference between the first time you listen to it. And I guess it's like, you know, you're not in a comedy club kind of washing the dishes, are you? No. So it's like you have given them your...
You're sort of there for the jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not there just kind of like on your phone, you know.
I had that once though I was doing an open mic in, I don't know where it was again. It was in Brabant somewhere. It was a Dutch open mic, and I went there with a friend of mine, Felix, who's from Nijmegen as well. And there was someone was on that lineup that was just really new to comedy, but quite vocal on Facebook, and quite a weird person in a way, and just saying weird shit on Facebook. And everyone was like, what the fuck is this? Who is this person?
Yeah.
And she went on, and we were sort of just looking at each other and just looking at my phone. And she did one joke, and we just cracked up and looked at each other like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, and that's exactly the feeling that you just described. You're doing something else, and you just hear something. You're like, "What the fuck did just happen?" That was amazing. And we just looked at each other and like, "What?"
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. That's like a confounding expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Turn it completely around.
Yeah.
The rest of the 8 minutes were dreadful, but that one,
but the opener, like, boom.
That joke was really, really funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the English scene is nice though in Holland right now. It's like a proper friendly, like I sort of said, no one's getting paid though, and that should change. But
true. Yeah. But yeah,
it's a proper friendly scene in a way, maybe even friendlier than the Dutch one.
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe, and it's very constructive. I mean, you know, because even it feels like when something happens that like the critical mass is that people feel like, okay, this guy's the one being the cunt.
Yeah.
So I can actually chip in and shoot him down.
Yeah.
I think that was the difference. Like in Australia, I was kind of like, there's a bunch of people being cunts, but maybe everyone's a cunt.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like no one else is commenting, but apart from the cunts. So
just a game of spot the cunt.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah. And it's amazing how just that kind of general, I suppose that's like a sociological thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when people are proactively being like, you know, shut the fuck up, or just like good for you, then everyone else feels a bit like, this is the atmosphere, this is this
yeah,
thing
you set the tone for the rest of the conversation, really.
Right. Yeah. Yes, and for me it was kind of, you know, it was like, this is so nice.
It's so a breath of fresh air.
Exactly.
People are generally friendly here.
Yeah.
But they're also a bit too friendly sometimes.
True.
Like,
I mean, there's always going to be a back and forth, and like you need that. I mean, you know, for example, some of these people who were cunts were also good comedians.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, because I've seen people in the Dutch English, the Danglish scene.
Yeah.
Not doing too well and being you know, getting compliments and shit like, that was really well.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah.
So that's the drawback of that. Is I think there needs to be you don't need to be a dickhead, but there needs to be a bit of growth, and you should be able to tell each other, like you did in the car the other day when we were driving back from Wageningen, and Suva just asked for feedback, and you were just honest about that. Like, I thought, you should not say this part of the joke because it sets up a different expectation.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that though, because I mean, like with Zua, it's like I feel like we've talked and worked on stuff together enough that I can have that kind of back and forth with him. But the problem with a lot of comedy is that, you know, it's ego based. It's also like, does the person get the thing that you're doing? Yeah. Like with Zua, and like, you know, I trust his feedback to me as well.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like I know he knows what I'm about as well. So when he tells me it's like, this isn't working, he knows that it's not just something he wouldn't like or do. No. It's like, no, that I know what you're trying to do, but you're not doing it. Yeah. So whereas other people, there might be some people who I've never met before who'll leave a comment, and I'll be like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, it's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
I remember performing in Utrecht about 2.5 years ago. I think it was my second year of comedy. And it was, up to this day, still one of the best performances I had, for reasons unbeknown to me.
Right.
Based on energy levels in the room and me not caring, because I just drove the ring of Utrecht for about an hour. Didn't know where to get in, didn't know where to park. Had to go to the bathroom really bad. Walked into the venue, went to the bathroom. I was on third, and the second person was up, and he was dying.
Yeah.
So I got out of the toilet and just had to walk on straight away, and just had a fuck it vibe. And the fourth word that I said, I got a laugh, and it wasn't even a punchline. It wasn't even a joke. It was just sort of a set-up-y thingy.
Yeah.
And I had this stellar set. I feel cocky saying this now, but I had a stellar set. And I walked off, and people actually sort of whistling and like proper cheering and shit. And outside, this guy...
Right.
No, it's a very nice dude, and he's in a comedy collective in Holland.
Yeah.
I just do not find him that funny, and he started giving me feedback and running through my. I was like, "Did you not see what just happened?"
Right.
It's like it's fair enough that you want it. Not right now. I'm so amped up from having this storm of a set, and
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the other part is, and that happened a lot in New Zealand. I died on my feet in New Zealand once, and this guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, yeah, it was pretty good, eh?" Like, nah, where the fuck were you? What were you watching?
It's in a way, it's like a low key and it's burn. You know?
It's like it wasn't a burn
like,
though. It was just proper friendliness.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like, oh, let's not address the elephant in the room right here that you just died.
Yeah.
Slowly.
That's it, though. I mean, it's almost complimentary to be able to say something like that to someone because you expect better or you hope for better.
Yeah.
Them, as opposed to if you're just kind of like, basically patronizing them.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. It's a tough balance, though, isn't it? Because, the combination of, like, someone who might not give good feedback and also the combination of someone who may have another agenda,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, even, like, on a personal level, like, there are some comedians who get good responses from crowds, but I'm like, I don't like this guy. Like, I don't like what they're about and because, like it or not, your comedy is, like, also a platform.
Reflection of
a reflection of yourself and for what you want to stand for and what you're doing. And I might be, like, kind of like, oh, he's got a good physical presence. I think that his timing is good. His cadence is great and everything. But if the content, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, it can be depressing because you can hear the audience laughing and you're like, you fucking liking this shit?
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you guys?
It's kind of like the last elections. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Exactly. Stop cheering, motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. You listen to the words?
Yeah, you do get that from time to time where you see someone on the stage doing either stolen material, hacky material, easy material, and people are laughing.
Because especially the ones where it's like someone, not especially, but the stolen, or not even intentionally stolen, but you're just kind of like, I have never heard this bit before, but I can almost guarantee that multiple people have done this multiple times.
Yeah. Every started out comedy goes to World War II. Like jokes about concentrating in concentration camps. They've been done a million times, and you've seen them from different people, and it's just like it just pisses me off in a way. Just like be more creative. But then again, I was shit when I started out as well. But at least it was my own story. Yeah, I started out with 6 minutes of me talking about me taking a poo in the street in Rotterdam. At least it was my story.
Exactly.
And there's Holocaust references in there as well because they're easy. But it was my fucking story, and you see a lot of, especially starting out comics, they're just sort of trying to mimic.
Well, you're finding and that's it. It's like especially when you're starting out, you can't help but find yourself like start to. Adopt the voice of your heroes, and
your favorite comedians,
because you that's what you find funny, So you're just like, how do I be funny? I know, not on a conscious level, but it just happens, and then you start to just notice turns of phrase. And I still to this day, usually when I'm improvising something, and I'll just do a little thing, and my head will just like go, no. Don't do that again. Stop it. You know who that is. You know.
You just did a Tom Segura right there. Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of like, that's an Eddie Izzard bit. That's a Stuart Lee bit, you bastard. Keep it to him. No, you get your own shit. But but usually nowadays it's just improvising stuff. But even so, it's still there in the brain. It's still there.
Yeah, you just sort of you try to open up all the drawers and to get a comeback.
Yeah, exactly.
And then sometimes you open up a drawer that someone else's in a way. For me, it's mostly though the energy wise, like the way I perform, the way I act things out. I think I recently had a bit of a Crystalia phase where I try to act out his way and his funniness and the being happy on stage, and then you're like, oh, this is a bit Tom Segura like, or is he a different comedian doing that on stage? There's tons of Dutch comedians that mimic out Ronald Goedemond, which is one of the biggest Dutch comedians. There's so many. They're just like, you can hear the cadence and the rhythm and just like, there's...
Yeah.
But yeah, the audience still loves it, so it doesn't really matter in a way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things that if people are laughing, then it's good. But at the same time, you're like... you're like some 2-bit kind of like second wave, like riding on the coattails of someone else's like genius or like, you know, originality. Yeah. And it just feels a little bit like, you're like a dirty stop out, you know? Yeah. You didn't earn these laughs. You're just like, you're making fake copies of these laughs and selling them and saying same but different, you know? It's,
homeopathic bastard.
The essence of a joke.
Yeah, the essence of a joke. I brought you the essence of a joke. Yeah. Who were your heroes when you started out with comedy? How long have you been doing comedy, by the way?
So it would be 5 years.
Yeah. And who were your heroes when you started out? Who were your favorite comedians?
So growing up,
who did you mimic?
Right, yeah. So there was a period of time. I grew up in like the time where everyone my age was a huge Eddie Izzard fan. Yeah. So there was a period of time when I just listened to his shit on repeat, just again and again and again. So that's one of the influences I do try to steer away from a lot. Harry Hill was another one who was, I loved his surrealness and the fact that everything that he did just felt like it was, I would often be kind of like, why would that be a good idea? And it would play in my mind, and he really had that perfect... He was like the king of like repetition and comebacks. Yeah. So he would actually take something that was fundamentally not necessarily particularly funny, but he would manage with his like abilities to keep coming back to this. Yeah. It was such a fundamentally shit idea, but because the comebacks would be so relevant to the new thing that he's talking about, that you would be like... No, what? And then the brain would not be able to calculate this. Like, no, that shouldn't be funny. But for some reason, that's fucking funny. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. And then like Stuart Lee, no surprises there. Because, but again, actually, I grew up with like Stuart Lee and Richard Herring when they were a double act. Yeah. Never thought they were that good. Because as a pair, they would like go for a lot of low hanging fruit. It would mostly be Richard Herring going like, I said something stupid, and Stuart Lee going like, no, Rich. What the actual thing you've done there is you've confused that for something that's actually not the case. And the audience would go like, ha ha ha, Stuart Lee's so clever and Richard Herring so stupid. Yeah. And then there was that phase where Stuart Lee just like disappeared. And then he came back as this kind of like established stand-up act who had this kind of next level sort of part critique, part character-based thing going on. And it was like, is this the same guy? Who was so just like one-dimensional for like most of my teenage years. But it turns out that he changed his entire like everything, I guess, and for the best for it, you know. Yeah. Actually, I think it was a while where I didn't even bother to check out his stand-up because I was like, it's the one-dimensional guy. Yeah, that's
that dude from the duo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'll get around to it maybe. People are talking about it a lot. Maybe I should, but yeah, I mean, like, and then more recently, I guess, like, I personally do like a physical aspect in comedy. It definitely sort of underpins something with me. I like sounds. Like, I find that like a way of saying something can sometimes be funny. Yeah. I remember I used to have a thing where I'd kind of just say the word China. Yeah. For a while, just for like dragging on the A, and it would just come up in conversation, and it was just like an in joke with me and some friends, and be like, "Where should we go this summer? Let's go to China." Yeah, and it's just like a stupid, pointless thing. Then Donald Trump ruined that for me. Yeah, motherfucker, and I was like, okay, but just like the fundamental thing of I remember just like thinking in my head, it's like I just like that sound. Yeah. And like with a lot of things that I do, I like that idea of like, it's like sometimes it's not even the words that you're saying and the way it's sculpted, but it's the way they're being said, the context, the ridiculousness, or just the fact that it's like the pure joy that sound kind of gets, or something like this. So, you got to play around with that sort of idea. Yeah. But I like people like Tony Law and Paul Curry more recently as well, because they do adopt some physicality in what they do, but also have this whole kind of mentality that stand-up is not just a sort of linear format. It's more of a, it's an art. It can be an art. You can really express yourself in different ways, and there's still so much that can be done with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and that, I love it when you get. I mean, like I remember I saw one of Hans Theeuwen's first English language gigs in London on a whim. And that to me was actually quite revelatory to me, because I was like, didn't have a clue who this guy was. So, imagine going to see Hans Theeuwen, and it's like you're essentially got the expectations of an open mic, because you've never heard of this guy, and it's just somewhere in London. He's doing a small theatre thing, and you were just like, nothing else on tonight. It's around the corner from work. Let's go along. And like, only people in the audience who aren't Dutch. And then his particular style, it was just like for the first, say, 20 minutes of like going, I don't know what's happening.
What's going on?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why is there any jokes or is there anything happening? But slowly as it kind of continued, I was just like in hysterics. I was just kind of like, I still don't really understand it.
Why it was so funny. Yeah.
But it is so funny. Yeah. Like we were talking before about like the Mars bar and a socks sort of sketch. It's like, it's just so fundamentally, like on paper, it shouldn't work. Yeah. But when you actually see it, it's like...
Yeah, but it's the same with Paul Curry in a way. Like, on paper it shouldn't work, but it just...
Yes, yeah.
He had I talked to him, and one of the things he said that was sort of, a revelation to me was... he said that he always performs with the energy of a street performer still. Like, they can walk out at any second. And I think a lot of stand-ups are just lazy and like, if this joke doesn't work, next one will.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a different way of, especially when I'm emceeing now, I'm trying to adopt that they can leave at any time, and I need to keep them in. Yeah. And that gives you a sort of excitement and an edge that you're on. Yeah. For me, anyway.
No, that's a very good point, and that's a good way of looking at. I mean, that's a good way of looking at things in general. I mean, obviously, with certain, you do sometimes need to take the audience on a journey when you got a longer bit. Yeah. But especially as an MC, and especially, it's something which you can easily forget, is that, people are there by choice. Yeah. And they can literally just walk out.
They can just, like Luke last week, Yeah. They can just walk out and start smoking weed and then come back later in the show.
Yeah. Because there's a few comedians with that kind of street performer background. Not even just physical ones, but some of them, I'm trying to think, who was it who had a long interview the other day, and it was quite a surprise that it was someone who had a street performer background. But even like, say, Matt Berry, who's not like a stand-up as such, but he's known for his voice acting and a lot of stuff like that. His background was like working in the London Dungeon, which is really? Like a tourist attraction.
I went there,
Right, and it's mostly based around people just being cliches of like,
medieval.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Shit, yeah.
So they're just playing up and acting to that. Yeah. And he said like a lot of his caricatures and like his confidence in writing and things like that came from the fact that he basically had this this job where he was able to just try out different things every single day in a way that was far less forgiving than stand-up, because a lot of people didn't even want to really be there. Yeah. But they just thought they wanted something to do.
You had to rope them in,
Yeah. And I guess there's a lot of stand-ups in the Netherlands who are tour guides and things like this, and that seems like that sort of overlap is coming in as well.
I think that the entire English Dutch scene is a tour guide in Amsterdam, For all of them.
Exactly, yeah.
And if not, you can just apply and you're hired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've seen you do your bit.
Yeah, they've seen you do your bits. No, you're in. You're a tour guide now.
Yeah.
But so you like more of the... I've only recently more got into that it shouldn't be too jokey, but it can also just be the energy build up and the way around it and stuff. So more getting into that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, my influences, like, Vic Reeves, Bob Mortimer. Like, I love Tim and Eric. I love, like, the whole Eric Andre stuff, all edited by Doug Pound. And it's like, I love this kind of like culture jamming shit that's like, it's hard to say. It's just, like, you know, do you know the Adult Swim?
No.
Okay. It's a lot of surrealism.
Yeah.
And I like it when someone can actually take you somewhere where and can present something to you where the onus of making sense of it is put on you.
Yeah.
But it's not like someone's just being random and wacky. There is a logic to it. But they are putting something out there that then it requires the audience to do some work to actually make sense of what it is.
That's why I like the Day-to-Day.
Right.
Chris Morris.
Chris Morris, huge influence.
Yeah. That's what I love about the Day-to-Day and like heavy electricity and shit like that. And just to make something completely ridiculous believable.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And in such a way that, you know, it actually starts to make you question what these things that you've assumed are. Make things believable in the first place and make things make sense. Because, you know, like Chris Morris was so good at that, was being able to take like phrases or actions or mannerisms, or in the format of like TV, you know, certain infographics or Vox Pops interviews and things like that. Because Charlie Brooker as well took that, you know, years later. Well, actually not years later. Those guys worked together for a while. But there was this real kind of emphasis on on taking serious things and showing them to be ridiculous. Yeah. So it's not actually outright comedy, because the fact is it's all delivered with the po-facedness as if this could actually be a documentary. Yeah. That's what makes it funny, is because you look at it and you kind of like go, wait a minute, that's not true. Yeah.
In a Spinal Tappy kind of way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That kind of thing.
Which is another classic, by the way, Spinal Tap.
Absolutely. Actually, that was one which when I grew up, I didn't appreciate very much. And later, I only
discovered it like when I was like 31. 4 years ago, I saw it and I was just like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's like
even the songs are good.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's all so good.
It's a great example of the whole musical comedy actually working.
No, exactly. They actually toured for a while as well. Yeah. Acoustic without the wigs on.
Right.
Yeah. No, but that's, to me, I was more influenced actually by a more jokey sort of stand-up. I remember going to school and I had this first generation MP3 player hanging around my neck. And one of those dangly thingies.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, and next to Limp Bizkit was Bill Engvall with Here's Your Sign.
Okay.
Which was just jokes about stupid people. like I hate stupid people, and then he would just go off at people doing stupid shit.
Right.
You know, there was a U-Haul truck in my driveway. We were carrying boxes. And my buddy walks up and was like, "Hey, y'all moving?" And I was like, "Nope. We just pack our shit up once or twice a week. Just see how many boxes it takes. Here's your sign." And I remember to today, it was like 7 minutes 42 of just pure joke after joke after joke. And I loved that so much.
Damn. Yeah.
Just ramming of jokes. And the same with Eddie Murphy and his shows. It's just joke after joke after joke.
Yeah.
That was, for me, how I got into stand-up, really.
Yeah.
And then later on, I started turning more into British comedy. And and now even there's a lot of good Belgian comedians right now that perform in Dutch, and that they're really more energy-based than jokey-joke-based. And
do you remember seeing, I am seeing a night where Jeroen Leenders was...
Jeroen's amazing. He's probably...
Yeah.
To me, he's one of the best in Holland right now, in Holland and Belgium. And like he's one of his jokes has the punchline is the word foam,
right?
Which is not a jokey joke, but it's just so good, and the build up to that, and it's just amazing the way he presents himself. To me, he's probably one of the best in.
And he definitely sums up that well. That sort of it's everything about his delivery, his tone,
his
the
build-up
ridiculousness. When I was talking about the sounds as well, the way he can like it's like as if he could just be like reading a recipe, and in like kind of
for rice,
and he'd just be losing it. It's like he's got that like knack. He's really got it down.
Yeah, everything's funny.
Yeah.
About that guy, and he's a super nice guy as well.
Yeah,
he's a really nice guy. But yeah, I like him a lot right now in Holland. Jim Speelmans is really funny.
Yeah,
he's like a proper good joke writer. Wouter Monde is a really good joke writer right now.
Yeah,
so yeah, I've always been a bit more. I almost kicked your mic, didn't I? Sorry,
just a little. I wasn't talking then anyway.
Oh, that's all right. On top of the book of immunology and this protein structure,
high budget mic stand.
Yeah, but yeah, and yeah, I know. I started copying those the first time. I watched the video my first time recently. Did you do it on tape your first time?
Yeah, I did. I've watched bits. I've never been able to watch it all at once.
Because it's too painful.
Yeah, and it's because that whole thing. It's not. It was like wasn't terrible. There were some bits, but it was the fact that like that whole thing of like, oh, I know that influence.
Yeah.
Or just like bits where I'm kind of like, that's not what I'm about. You know.
Do you remember the first joke you ever wrote? I just got to check if my kids are still alive and my wife is still happy with me.
Fair enough.
Not being at home. You remember the first joke you ever wrote?
I'm just going to check. This is the screensaver kicked in. What's that about? Oh, come on, Mike, you fucker.
We just missed like half an hour. No, it's still going. Still
I
going.
always have that paranoia.
Yeah, oh man.
A lot, but it's like, yeah. Yeah.
I think we lost 45 minutes of I Coma once. Niels did when he did the podcast. He lost about 45 minutes.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it was really good. No one will ever hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, get back. Do you remember your first joke that you ever wrote?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I do. I remember the punchline. No, wait. It was pretty simple. It was just one of those ones that can... Yeah, I don't... Fuck. It was something like... No. It was something about my dad. And I remember he heard it as well, and he was like, why would you do that? That's not true. And I was like, that's not the point.
I remember my girlfriend coming to shows before we had the kids. She would come to almost every show, just come along. She loved coming along and just having a drink and watching me do the show and just talking to comedians.
Yeah.
And I used to do a lot of material about my girlfriend or some bits about ex-girlfriends and stuff, and people would always be looking at it like, oh, did that really happen? Like, no.
Oh man, yeah. That's it. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is it's like it's comedy.
Yeah, I know, it's not all true.
Yeah,
like, yeah, I think you told me that you changed the story from...
Right, yeah. A story of a break-in that happened to me, but when I do it on stage, it happened to my neighbours, because otherwise I get too much sympathy from the audience, and that's not what I'm looking for. So, and it's just so funny, because it's kind of like, it happened to me, that's why it matters.
Yeah.
But in your version, it's like, I can be really like lighthearted about it.
Your poor neighbor.
Exactly. I can have a silent tear roll down my face.
Yeah. It's funny though how you sort of have jokes or bits and you sort of adapt them in a way like that, and it suddenly clicks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that's the thing is, if a lot of the time as well, it's like it's who it happens to, is whether the person can like feel like they can laugh about it, as if it's appropriate, as if it's okay, or it's inappropriate, but in the right way. Because if it doesn't happen to the right person in the right way, then it might be like, oh, hang on, I'm not sure.
I'm a racist now.
Yeah, yes. It's like, oh, is that person okay, or is it? But it's weird that, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, who's the best person to make this joke happen to?
Yeah. How does it make me look bad?
Yeah.
That's usually for me. How do I look like the loser in this story? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just turn it around like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. you can find a way of like putting yourself at the bottom, then
yeah, that's kind of how it works though. Like, I remember talking to you in the car a week ago about that, where I used to do this hipster bit just out of me hating hipsters.
Yeah.
And I now stuck it to a yoga instructor that pissed me off and made me look like an idiot. So still I'm the loser, and still I get to rip on hipsters. It's amazing.
Exactly. But in a way that everyone feels happy laughing.
Everybody wins.
Yes.
It's great.
It's so true.
What are your aims with comedy? Any goals, or just making people laugh?
It's a tough one because it's like, I'm conscious of, because it's hard to say, because I'm always kind of like got little things I'm doing. I've always got 101 projects. A lot with every artistic endeavor I've ever done. So my background was mostly music. I've always had that mentality that it's like you just got to keep doing stuff. Yeah. And some things will work, some things won't.
Well, we're creators, right?
Right, exactly. And it's like, and you just got to have that attitude of like, you put everything into everything that you do, but you can't get precious and say like, this is the thing that is the thing that's going to make everything okay and satisfy me on every level. Yeah. So right now I'm starting this interview series thing that I'm in the progress of putting. So up and coming bands, but like mid-level popularity, but interviewing them as various characters. The bands won't know about this. They'll think it's just a regular band interview. It'll all be filmed and everything. So that's a project I'm working on now. I'm quite excited about, which and again, it's one of those things where it's like, oh well, we got the first band lined up, we've got the production team lined up, and now I'm like, oh shit, now I got to actually
do this.
What this idea is. But a deadline always helps with these things. But it's like, and then with stand-up, I've started something here in Nijmegen. I'm hoping to start something in Arnhem as well. And obviously performances then, for me, it's partly because it's nearby and, there's no substitute for stage time for getting things sorted. But yeah, I'm just like, if I can think of a good idea, I'm going to keep going with it. But it's obviously the ideal is like, oh, imagine I could like live off this, but it's not happening anytime soon. Yeah.
They're also all depressed.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah. It's like there's a certain point where you kind of like, have I even got the energy? Jeez.
Yeah. That was. Well, I'm at that point right now actually, where I'm like, would I even want to be a professional stand up full time? Because I'm slowly in the Dutch scene. I'm slowly getting out of the open mic scene and I go into the talent spot scene, and now I'm getting paid spots here and there, mostly MC stuff. Yeah, because there's not a lot of good MCs. And I'm a pretty okay MC. Yeah, but I'm at this point where I'm like, do I want to live off this? I don't have the time to network. I don't have the time to put into this that I need to because of kids, which is a lame excuse if you just hear it like that, but I really do not have the time to do it right now. I don't think
it's a lame excuse. I mean, life is life, and everything you do, you only have so much time, and you got to work out what really matters.
And I think getting ahead in comedy takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of maybe even performing multiple times one night just to get one joke right, and I just don't have the time right now for that. And and I got a new job, so I'm like, gonna focus on that for the rest of this season, do a couple of shows here and there and see what happens next season. Yeah, and it's good to stay creative as well and start doing other things like interviews with bands and
well, I'm just like different ideas.
For me right now, it's sewing. I like sewing. I've got like this sweatshop in the attic. And my wife crochets and I sew. That's how we're gonna rule the world.
Damn, hell yeah! You're gonna exactly move over like sweatshops.
Move over, Asians. Exactly. There's a couple in Nijmegen taking away jobs from people in Bangladesh right now.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, motherfuckers, we're going to charge slightly more, but we've got less postage fees to pay.
There we go. Yeah. We deliver on our bikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Any afterburners? I think we went around this up in the...
Yeah, no, it's cool. Not really. No, I mean, like, I mean...
What would be your one point of advice to starting comedians? Let's finish up on that one. I was like,
okay, yeah. I think so. Someone who's starting, someone who's like new to it and is kind of coming into it, is that just get on stage as soon as possible, and to get on stage as much as possible, and to keep doing it, and don't be precious about what you've got, and don't be afraid to bomb and try new things, and do stuff which doesn't feel necessarily natural to you, because it'll take you a long time to work out what your voice actually is.
Yeah.
So if you keep doing the things that worked on that one open mic where you actually had a good thing, and you stick to that, then you'll look back a year later and just like go, what am I doing? This is shit.
This is lame.
Yeah. But you'll be too scared to try anything else because you've got used to those levels of laughs, and and it's like you've gotta, if you're not like bombing now and again, then you're not trying hard enough.
Don't get comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I mean, it's good to get your type 5 and everything, and then you can take that places, and then you can move that up and start working on your 10, 15s and everything.
Yeah.
But the point is that when you see these people who are just, they are literally doing that same thing night after night, it's like, well, what's your end goal here? You know? It's like, you got the perfect 5 minutes. You'll forever be the perfect 5 minute comedian.
Guy.
You know? It's like, come on, man, you gotta keep it going.
And Holland's too small for that as well. Once you've gotten all those,
you
went through all those stages in Holland, then you gotta come with new shit, or just
exactly, because it's the same people again, and they're like, I've heard this shit, motherfucker.
It happens though. It happens even at open mics, like at the opera, the one that Sua does.
Oh yeah,
there was a Dutch comedian that's been in the open mic scene for about 6 years now, and is not really getting ahead a lot. And he was doing his set, and people afterwards come up to me, he's like, "Oh, you did the same set as last year." I was like, well, first of all, why do you remember that?
Okay,
you have a boring life, sir. but also that's heavy.
Yeah,
like, that means you've been doing the open mic circuit with the same 10 that you've been doing for at least a year. And it hasn't changed that much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like when I moved to Australia, I suddenly realized that all my cultural references, no one knew. All those little things about politicians, no one knew those politicians. TV, it's amazing how humbling it was, because it was like all that, like those cheap laughs that I could get amongst my friends.
Yeah.
No one understood those things. So I had to find something more universal.
Yeah.
And so I did actually, that helped, because then when I moved to the Netherlands, I was like, okay, I already know that I need to do something more universal and not be so lazy. But it's funny how.
But it pushes you to craft.
Yeah, because you have to be like, okay, find what's the common thing we've all got here right now.
Yeah.
What is it that people can understand, and if they don't understand it, how can you convey it in a way that they will understand it?
Yeah, exactly.
And not. Then to the extent that works for your joke, then they can understand what the fuck they want. But no,
it's true. There's some things that like I do Dutch and English stand-up. Some things just do not translate either.
Yeah.
Or the rhythm and the cadence is better in one language.
Yeah. It's funny. I hear that, and then I'm kind of like, I only get to see the one side. And I'm like, I didn't think it was a very good joke.
Yeah. Really, you think this rhythm's good? Oh, okay. No, sure, dude. Yeah, cool. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Space.
8 minuten. 8 minuten. 8 minuten. 8 minuten. 8 minuten meer. 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 Meer.